Do you know that Bengaluru generates over 4,000 metric tons of waste daily? And of this, only 1,200 metric tons of waste is processed, and the remaining 2,800 metric tons of mixed waste ends up in landfills. Clearly, Bengaluru is struggling with its garbage woes, and this is evident in its ranking of the Swachh Survekshan Reports of the previous years. On its part, the BBMP is doing its best to improve the ranking. But can we as responsible citizens do something about it? Yes, definitely we can do something about it when we adopt sustainable methods of living. If we consciously determine to reduce generation of trash, compost wet waste at home, and recycle solid waste to the maximum extent, then there is no way why we cannot achieve this dream. Hello, I'm Priyanka Rachaya. Welcome to today's episode of Property Hacks, where we will learn one of the most important aspects of sustainable living, kitchen composting. And this from the pioneer of composting, Ms. Vani Murthy herself. Kitchen composting helps you on cutting down on the amount of garbage reaching the landfills. It helps in reducing greenhouse gases that majorly contributes to global warming, and also aids you in producing rich organic matter for your plants. Let's get started and ask our first question to Ms. Vani Murthy. How does one compost their kitchen waste at home?
There are only 5 things that you need to understand about composting. The first thing is the greens. The greens are the wet kitchen waste, what comes from your kitchen waste, which is high in nitrogen. This is the wet waste, your vegetable peels, your fruit peels. One tip is make sure that you put it into a colander so that you catch the excess water. You don't want this excess water to go into your composting. You just want the peels, right? Because they are all dense in water. These are vegetable peels, all vegetable peels. Your fruit peels, banana peels and all that. Your eggshells, tea and coffee, even mango seeds and corn cobs can go into composting. So these are all green material, high in nitrogen, and they are very wet. The second thing that you need to know, out of 5 things, the second thing is the brown material. The browns are high in carbon, and the first browns that I go for is the dry leaves, and this is the material that's dry. When you crush it, it helps absorb the excess moisture from the greens, the browns. So the second choice for browns is you can use sawdust, or you can use coco peat. Coco peat is another product that you can use as browns. So that's the second thing, the brown. The third thing is the microbes. So in the natural world, microbes take care of the breakdown of anything that is organic. So even human bodies, when they are buried, the microbes will make sure that they completely become a part of the soil, right? Same way, if anything falls in the forest floor, the whole thing gets converted into great soil, which gives back nutrients to the trees again. So there's a natural cycle maintained there. So we need to mimic that microbes in our homes, in our containers, by adding something that would enhance the microbial activity, or colonize, the microbes colonize. So the simplest is our sour buttermilk. So leave curds out for 2 to 3 days, it becomes very sour. So make a buttermilk and keep, and this becomes the accelerator, or this helps the composting to happen faster. Right, it makes it faster. You can also add cow dung if you have any. So the third is the microbes. The fourth is oxygen. This is an aerobic process. That is, like us, all the microbes that act on breaking down organic matter, they are all aerobic microbes, and they need oxygen constantly. And if they are not getting oxygen, they'll perish, and then your compost bin will start smelling. When most people say, I started composting but it started to stink, it was smelling, that's because there was no air. So oxygen means you're turning the pile once in few days. Once in 4 to 5 days you have to turn the pile. And the last thing is the container. So you can take terracotta containers, you can take any plastic, your old plastic paint boxes. This is a demo box. So this you can make some holes on the top, not all the way down, just on top, so that aeration is maintained. And when you start making your compost, you need to turn the pile once in 4 to 5 days. So I'll show you a simple method of how to make the compost. So you drain out the excess water, make sure that you don't use that extra water. Then you take the kitchen waste, then add the browns, that is the dry leaves. So you added the dry leaves with your kitchen waste, and when you mix them together, the kitchen waste will not clump. The thing is, as this starts to break down, there's so much moisture, it will become compacted, and when air doesn't pass, that's why it smells. But when you mix your dry leaves well within it, and then you add the microbes, you add the culture, little bit of it, whatever you have. If you have buttermilk, you add buttermilk. If you can get hold of cow dung, you add a little bit of cow dung there. So this is when you add, they start acting immediately. So mix it well, and then you put some dry leaves at the bottom in case there is excess water, it will hold, and then you add it into the bucket. Make sure you mix it well. You mix the dry leaves along with it so that it stays breathing. The dry leaves absorb the excess moisture, and you will not have any problem with this smell. Just add them. Probably you can also top it with some dry leaves on top. So this is the daily do the same thing. Take your greens, take your browns, add a little bit microbes, mix them up, put them in the bucket, and then once in 4-5 days you give it a turn, and once the bucket is full, then it takes around 40 to 45 days for it to completely become something like this. It becomes dark and it becomes crumbly. This is the black gold. It smells amazing because it smells like the rain hitting the soil. That's the living, this is called the living soil. This is the black gold, and this in 45 days you will get something like this.
What are the important aspects that have to be kept in mind while composting?
Main thing in composting is you should not let it become too soggy, because when it becomes too soggy, it starts, there's a lot of water and air won't pass and it starts to stink. So make sure you keep a good balance.
And for all of you who complain of not having enough time, space and patience for composting, here's a quick alternative that's much easier than preparing a 2-minute noodles.
When we launched Swachhagraha, we launched a kit where we promoted a brick that has both the browns and the microbes. This has 10 different kinds of microbes. This is called a BioClean brick, and this brick is a cocoa peat base. It has cocoa peat. When you soak it in water, you get something like this. It's a dry powder that comes, and this needs to be just layered. You take your kitchen waste, so you take any bucket with holes, put one layer of dry leaves, then put one layer of the cocoa peat powder, and then one layer of kitchen waste, again one layer. So you keep layering it, and it's easy. You will spend less than 2 minutes. It is an experiment. Please try it out. In small balconies you can keep it. Of course you will have challenges, but learn more about how to compost the right way.
Yes, like how Ms. Vani Murthy said, learn, attempt, fail, reattempt, improve and excel, because composting is not rocket science. Now before you go in search of an old container for composting, do like and share our video and subscribe to MBTV and follow me on Twitter for more such useful information. This is Priyanka Rachaya signing off with camera person Pragat.
Please subscribe to Magic Bricks on YouTube and press the bell icon to get new videos.